The bonus hit his account on a Thursday. He was standing in the kitchen when the notification came through, and for a second he just stood there, looking at his phone. It was the largest number he had ever seen, sitting next to his own name. More than his father earned in a year at that age. He felt it land somewhere in his chest. That warm and specific feeling of having finally arrived somewhere that used to be a rumour. By the following Thursday, the number was mostly gone. Not wasted. He would have told you that himself, and he would have believed it. It went toward a slightly larger apartment, closer to the office. It went toward the car that made sense now that he was at this level. It went toward the dinners, where he reached for the check without thinking, because reaching for the check had quietly become part of who he was. Every dollar had a reason. Every reason was sensible. And at the end of the month, the biggest paycheck of his life had left behind almost nothing he was allowed to keep. You have probably had a version of that Thursday. The raise that felt like a finish line. The income that crossed into a bracket you used to only read about. And somewhere underneath the relief, a quiet question you never quite said out loud. If you are earning this much, why does so little of it ever seem to stay with you? Here is the answer, and it is arriving earlier in this video than it normally would, because you need it before the comfortable feeling wears off. Your income is a number the world can see. Your wealth is whatever is left over when nobody is looking. And for most high earners, those two numbers have almost nothing to do with each other. The moment your income becomes visible, everything around you starts pricing itself to that number. The bank offers you a credit line that matches it. The dealership walks you toward the model that matches it. The friends who used to split things evenly start assuming you will cover the gap, because the gap is nothing to someone at your level. Your own mind joins in too. You stop asking whether you can afford a thing and start asking whether someone who earns what you earn would buy it. The visible income becomes the price of your entire life. And the higher that income climbs, the higher the price climbs right alongside it. This is why the high earner is not the safe person in the room. The high earner is the most exposed person in the room. A visible income is a target, and the entire consumption economy is calibrated to hit it. That economy does not want your wealth, because your wealth is invisible and it cannot find it. It wants your income, because your income announces itself every 2 weeks like a bell. There is an old distinction that makes this concrete. Some people carry their wealth on the part of the ledger that flows. Money comes in at the top, moves through the month, and drains out the bottom, and all they have to show for an enormous income is the fact that an enormous income keeps arriving. Stop that income, and the whole life collapses inside of 90 days. Other people carry their wealth on the part of the ledger that stays. Money comes in, and a large piece of it never leaves. It settles into things they own. Cut off their income tomorrow, and almost nothing about their day would have to change. From the outside, these two people can look completely identical. They can earn the same, live on the same street, wear the same forgettable clothes. The difference between them is invisible on purpose. And it is the only difference that has ever mattered. So the real question was never how much you make. You already know that number, and it has not saved you. The real question is what happens to the money in the narrow window between the moment it arrives and the moment your life gets its hands on it. Everything about becoming wealthy happens, or fails to happen, inside that window. And almost nobody is guarding it. A certain kind of person figured that out, and then did something that looks strange from the outside. They started to disappear. Not physically, financially. They stopped letting their income be the number the world read them by. They pulled the money down below the surface, into a place where nothing could calibrate to it. And once they vanished, you would never pick them out of a crowd. The research behind The Millionaire Next Door found that most millionaires in America built the money themselves in a single generation, and that they tend to live in ordinary houses and drive ordinary cars. The typical one pays a fairly plain price for a vehicle, well under the sticker on the luxury models being financed by people straining to look the part. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for around $31,000. These people are not hiding failure. They are hiding success so completely that success has nowhere left to leak out. If you want to make that same move, the first thing that has to change is not your budget. It is the wire in your head that connects the size of your paycheck to the size of you. Right now, that wire is live. When the income went up, some part of you went up with it, and that part now has to be fed. It needs the apartment and the car and the check grab to keep confirming the new rank. As long as that wire stays connected, every raise you ever earn will be spent proving you deserved it. The people who disappeared cut that wire early. The income became a tool they used and stopped being a rank they lived inside of. One of the stranger things about the genuinely wealthy is how hard many of them work to feel ordinary. Households pulling $500,000 a year describe their lives as normal, as making peanut butter sandwiches and walking the kids to school, almost defensively. They are not performing modesty for a camera. They have simply refused to let the number become the person. The second change is the mechanical one, and it is the closest thing this has to a secret. You have to make the money disappear before your life notices it arrived. Most high earners do the exact opposite. The money lands in the account they stare at every single day. It sits there looking spendable, and their lifestyle quietly rises to meet it. Not through big, dramatic decisions, through small ones that each made sense at the time. The way to beat that is to never let the surplus touch the surface at all. The raise, the bonus, the extra income, all of it should move into ownership the moment it lands. Into index funds, into equity, into assets that are boring and silent and completely out of sight. Gone from the checking account before the weekend. Because money you can see is money your life will grow to consume. And money that has already vanished into ownership is money your life quietly learns to live without. The people building real wealth are not stronger than you in the moment of temptation. They deleted the moment of temptation. They never see the money long enough to want it. The third change is to freeze the visible version of your life at a level below what you actually earn, and then leave it frozen there while your income keeps climbing past it for years. This is the part that feels wrong, because it looks like you are refusing a prize you already won. You got the raise, and you are choosing to live like it never came. But that gap is the entire engine. The distance between what you bring in and what you show is the only thing that ever becomes yours to keep. Two people can earn the identical 6 figures and end a single decade in completely separate universes. And the only variable that decided it was how much daylight each of them held between their income and their display. The one who let the display rise to meet the income has a nicer car and nothing behind it. The one who held the line has a plain car and a fortune that no one can see. It helps to know where the vanished money actually goes, because it does not go into anything you could point a camera at. Over the last 2 decades, the spending of the highest earners has drifted away from obvious material objects and toward things that leave no visible trace. Education, retirement accounts, health, time bought back from other people. The things that cost the most now are precisely the things a neighbour cannot see, which is the whole point of them. A designer bag announces itself in a doorway. A fully funded retirement makes no sound at all. When you move your surplus into that silent category, you are not only saving money, you are relocating your entire life into a part of the economy that cannot be photographed, and therefore cannot be envied, and therefore cannot be used to price you. The last change is the one that gives this whole thing its name. You become unreadable. When your income stops showing on the outside of your life, the machinery that was calibrated to it loses its grip, because it no longer has a number to aim at. The dealership cannot upsell a person it cannot size up. The social circle cannot pull you into a spending race you visibly stepped out of. Even the systems that decide what to sell you get confused by someone whose spending refuses to match their earning. Wealthy families tend to keep a low profile on purpose, and the usual explanation given is privacy or safety. That is part of it, but the deeper reason is that visibility is a signal, and a signal is a thing the world uses to set your price. Remove the signal, and you remove your price. You stop being a number that other people's systems can plan around. None of this is free, and it would be dishonest to pretend it is. When you disappear, you give up being seen as the one who made it. The raise that used to buy a visible upgrade now buys nothing that anyone can admire. You will sit at dinners and not reach for the check, and feel the small, cold space where approval used to sit. Some of the people around you will read your restraint as struggle. A few of them will quietly assume you are doing worse than you are, and you will have to let them believe it, because correcting them would mean showing them the number. And showing them the number is the exact thing you gave up. There is a real loneliness in being wealthy in a way that nobody around you can confirm. That is the honest cost, and it is the reason most high earners never make this move at all. They would rather be seen as rich than actually be rich, and the world is more than happy to sell them the first one on credit. Here is what the ones who disappeared understood, and it is the thing worth carrying out of this. The person you are hiding the money from was never the neighbour. It was you. The neighbour was never going to spend your money. You were. Every dollar that stays visible in your account is a dollar your own life will eventually find a reason to consume, and it will always find a reason. And the reason will always sound sensible when it arrives. So the disappearing is not modesty, and it is not a costume. It is the act of getting the money out of your own reach before your own life can absorb it. The high earner spends 30 years feeding a number that everyone can see, and finishes with the number and nothing underneath it. The one who vanished spends those same 30 years feeding something no one can see, and finishes owning the only thing the entire game was ever for, which is the morning the earning finally becomes optional. The salary was always the loud part. It was built to be. It arrives on a schedule. It announces itself. It invites the whole world to price you by it. The wealth was always the silence underneath it. And the high earners who are quietly disappearing from the visible economy are not getting smaller. They are the only people in the room who are already free. You have every reason to become one of them. The first step is deciding, today, that you would rather have the silence than the sound.